There has been much talk of Britain leaving the EU. This Brexit would be a catastrophe. Not for the people, because it would be a great thing for them. It would be detrimental to the hellish plans of the New World Order, who are desperately trying to consolidate power into fewer and fewer hands. If this actually does happen, a Brexit would be intentionally allowed in order to snowball into something even bigger: global governance. You came here for the truth, so let me unveil that for you. Let's discuss today what would happen in a Brexit scenario and interconnect that with one market. Well, let's begin with this. First of all, Prime Minister David Cameron pledged to end the so-called blue-on-blue attacks between members of the Conservative Party in the final weeks of the campaigning for the referendum on the EU membership. So what they're calling here for is, look, get on the side of the winning team, guys. You have to stop going along with these people who just hate the EU and they are bad in every way. And it goes on. It's a little silly when you read it. But essentially, when you have the Prime Minister or the President coming out and have to try and calm everyone down, there's a reason for it. Because these individuals, they're constantly doing something, going and bowing down to different heads of state or royalty or anything else. So to get them to come out and make a speech about anything, usually there's something else behind it. It's not just for fun. So that's from the Prime Minister. A vote to leave the EU next month could precipitate a stock market crash and steep fall in the house prices, according to the IMF. They are warning, this is out of The Guardian, they are warning the same thing we've heard so many times before, except for the wrong reasons. Christine Lagarde also backed warnings from the Bank of England, Mark Carney, that Britain could fall into recession following a Brexit vote. Hang in there for just a second. I'm going to show you something very funny. Lagarde, who was in London on Friday to present the fund's annual health check, said it was possible that the economy would shrink in 2 consecutive quarters, which is the definition of a recession. Well, guess what? They're already there. We have looked at all the scenarios, done the homework. We haven't found anything positive to say about a Brexit vote. And the IMF said the panic among investors would trigger shockwaves throughout the economy following the vote. So, regardless, they are saying, if you read the article here, it's actually interesting. If you read the article, look, if you're into stocks, stock market's going to go down. You own a home? Well, guess what? The home prices are going to go down. You work? Well, you're going to be unemployed now. And just basically goes through every single category, scaring every single type of person, hoping that they will not vote yes to the Brexit vote. And they use the IMF, they use the prime ministers, they even use presidents of other countries in order to get everyone on board to say, look, we don't want to deal with this right now. Let's just fix the problems we have and we'll be back on track. And in fact, that's what they say here in this article. They basically say, look, let's get the growth back up and we will be on our way in no time. We do not need to leave the EU. They also talk about the currency in here. My thoughts here, and this may not be intentional, but should the currency depreciate, that would allow the US dollar to hang in there for some time. So think about it. If there actually is a Brexit and then the pound is reduced in relation to the US dollar, you see that strength that the US dollar has, which is not really accurate to the actual economy of the US or the strength of America at all. But basically, what you have here is buying more time. Very interesting. I'm not necessarily linking anything here. I'm just noting that. All right. Christine Lagarde said that growth is expected to rebound during the second half of the year. That's a quote from the previous article. So I literally took that and I searched it. This is startpage.com, and this is a good introduction for them as well. If you don't know Startpage, then there are many like this website. This happens to be the one that I like, but it's basically searching Google, but doing so anonymously. They don't keep any of your data. They're a great website. Check it out. Anyway, growth is expected to rebound during the second half of the year. And I just literally search that, and you'll find so many different articles relating to all different countries, all different places in the world, all different years, and every time we hear the same thing. Yes, the first half of the year sucked, but hang in there for the second half because it's going to be okay. It's hilarious to see it every single year over year. They said, don't worry, growth is coming in 2010. They said 2011. They said 2012. And I covered it here. I kept covering it here. And here we are again, the same issues. All right. And then we heard this all before, about the warnings, about the fear mongering. Representative Brad Sherman of California's congressional district told the House that he personally knew of several congressional representatives who said they were threatened with martial law if they voted against the bailout. And of course, we're talking back during the financial crisis. And, let me just quickly cover it. Many of us were told in private conversations that if we were to vote against the bill, that the sky would fall, the market would drop 2,000 or 3,000 points on the first day, another couple thousand on the second day, and a few members were even told that there would be martial law in America if we voted no. This is the type of fear-mongering that goes on. It becomes public, nothing gets done about it. So look at this. As you interconnect this in. So we have, the sky falling, the market's falling, but they are already falling. The economies around the world are all down. House prices fell in April as buy-to-let purchasers disappeared amid rises in stamp duty on second homes, according to this largest lender here. They said that the prices dropped 0.8% during the month, a sharp reverse on the 2.2% gain seen in March. Now, that might be small, might be a small amount, but what you have to realize is look for the trend. There's more in the article if you're interested. Let's just connect this in because it's not all about one particular country. The same problems have risen up in essentially most cities around the world. In fact, we're looking at home buyers are so fed up with San Francisco's crazy housing market that prices are now falling. Can you believe it? House prices fell 1.8% year on year in March, the first such drop in 4 years. Now, this is not necessarily a trend. Let's keep our eye on this. But you do see particular cities around the U.S. doing exceptionally well. And then there are most of the other cities doing terribly. But if you just focus on the good ones, then you could paint a pretty picture. Miami's condo frenzy ends with inventory piling up in new towers. This is another place that is very important to check out. If you want to know where the housing prices are going, look to Miami, look to Florida in general. As you see, tends to be a vacation state. I wrote about that in my book, where basically you have many of the people who can afford a second home, whether it's foreign investors or whether it's people living in the U.S., and they purchase these homes in places that have, let's say, nice weather and things like this. So Florida tends to be one of those. And as they buy up these places, you see the trend, because then when they start selling them and you see the downward trend, essentially, that's what we're looking at. Rental vacancy rates for Florida. Look during the financial crisis, or on the way to the financial crisis, as you saw more and more people selling or getting rid of their rentals. Why? Because the subprime allowed people who could not afford homes to buy one. And then you had the reversal of the trend. So those who were owning the real estate properties and were renting them out, they started to have a lot of vacancies during the financial crisis. But as soon as it hit and it all came tumbling down, you had a change that went on. And what we are experiencing with this change here is that more and more people will become renters. That is a fact, and the rent prices will be going up. And totally off topic, but I need to show you this. Leonardo DiCaprio isn't the only climate change hypocrite. So basically what happens is, they go and talk about climate change, how it's important, how you need to do your part, and then they go and they take their private jets all around the world. Now, they can do whatever they want, as far as I'm concerned. If a wealthy person wants to take a private jet, they can take a private jet. But don't put it in other people's faces what they should or should not be doing. You as an individual should do what you want to do as long as you're not harming anybody else. But you don't have the right to tell anybody else what to do. So all three of you individuals, please stop telling the world what's best. If you found this video informative, please give me a thumbs up. Last but not least, if you found the video informative, I know you will find my book, The Money GPS, even more informative. If you want to look through the book, just head over to Amazon, and they have a look inside feature, which will allow you to flip through the pages of the book and see if you like it. Take care. Once again, just wanted to thank everyone who stayed all the way till the end. Thank you very much for your comments. Thank you very much for your emails. Thank you very, very much for all of your donations. I truly appreciate this very much, and I will continue to output as many videos as I possibly can with good content, give you as much information in the shortest period of time possible. Thanks.